This is Tony from the A Minute to Midnight show, going to take you down a little bit of a rabbit hole in this short video. First, I want to deal with censorship, internet censorship following the shooting in Las Vegas. This is an article in All News Pipeline written by Susan Duclos, and down in the article she actually mentions A Minute to Midnight. We put out a video the day following the shooting dealing with it and an Illuminati influence in it. The video was up for 2 days on YouTube before they actually took it down and banned it. And not only that, but Facebook also banned the video and put me into a sort of a Facebook jail where I can't post in any groups or comment in any groups for a week or so. I can't even post in A Minute to Midnight's own Facebook group, so thankfully I have Brooke and Joni doing that for me because they are part of the administration of that as well. There is no real recourse when you're banned. YouTube did not give any specifics as to what was in the video that had it banned, and they rejected the appeal without any specifics, and Facebook didn't even respond to my appeal. So you have no real recourse when they do ban you. Now this is just straight out censorship. They want to control the narrative, but the question is, why is this censorship happening? Now, I'm not the only one. Many others have found themselves in Facebook jail and also having their YouTube videos banned. Mine, I think, was probably the first one that targeted the Illuminati with the shooting. I think that may be why they took mine down. But as far as Facebook goes, here's another example, and I may pronounce this person's name wrongly, forgive me if I do. Jerry Ungerian. She put an article out which got her into Facebook jail, and her crime was targeting Snopes. Now, you may know that Snopes is one of the ones that Facebook actually uses to police Facebook for posts and things. So, in a sense, Snopes policed an article about themselves and banned it. So that is, again, censorship, straight out censorship, where if you do not toe the line of the radical left wing, they are liable to ban you or at least put you in some sort of jail. Go to the aminutetomidnight.com website and you'll see an article I wrote that does some in-depth analysis on certain aspects of what occurred in Las Vegas, including an analysis of the audio of 3 videos that were on YouTube. Also looking at the numbers from an occultic perspective. As the Illuminists work through numbers, everything is done with numbers. I won't go into a great deal of depth here, but just go to aminutetomidnight.com and search out that article and you'll find out more, like how the Luxor Hotel is a New World Order temple, I believe. There are a number of things, I believe, that tie the Luxor Hotel to the New World Order and the Illuminati, and I go into some depth. And we look at Jason Aldean. I think it's highly unlikely that Jason Aldean personally had anything to do with the shooting, probably had no knowledge of it, but there are some questions around his tattoo and also the Illuminati card game with the Jack and the Ace and how they tie in with number 11, and I deal with the number 11s in our article in the numbers section. I don't have any answers here, but in the music industry there's a lot of control that goes on, and is it possible that someone suggested to him that he get that tattoo on his arm and he could be quite innocent and know nothing as to the tie-up, but perhaps there was somebody that does know more and that's why he had the tattoo? Because in an earlier photo you can see there was no Jack and Ace on his arm. That's been added at some time in the more recent past. Here you can see an image of 2 double-headed phoenixes. One is a 32nd degree Freemasonry, the other one is Order Out of Chaos 33rd. Take a look, it's a double-headed phoenix in both cases. I've dealt with double-headed phoenix in articles before. Now look at that with Jason Aldean's Aldean Army logo. Does that not look also like a double-headed phoenix in there, which could signify something in the occult and perhaps a tie-up with the Illuminati or the Freemasons. It's definitely worth considering. Also, have a look at this logo, the Country Rising logo, which was for a concert that's now been cancelled with Jason Aldean in it and others. And look, it looks very much like an as above, so below logo. There is also a trinity of stars or pentacles in there, which could represent a Sirius connection. That's Isis or Sopdet, Osiris and Horus, kind of an unholy trinity there. Now I just want to bring you attention to an article in the millenniumreport.com. Have a look at this picture that's in the article. This is obviously a police, staged propaganda photo. It's before the shooting, not afterwards. Look, there are no broken windows, no evidence of broken windows. And look at the satanic sign in the corner. The Harvest Festival, the stage, there's nobody playing on it or anything there. So what's going on here? That is somewhat suspicious, I would suggest. Going back to the article itself, have a look. There's a couple of names there, Sheldon Adelson and Michael Chertoff. I want to briefly look at them both in this short video. But before I do, there's a couple of other names I want to bring up. Now, there's an old saying that kind of goes along the lines of, if you want to figure out what's happened, follow the money. Well, let's look at the money trail here. George Soros investment fund bought puts on 1.35 million MGM stocks 60 days or so before the attack. Now, that is very, very interesting. So, basically, George Soros was betting against the stocks that they would fall by a certain amount, and then when they fell, he would buy them. So this is on the Hal Turner radio show website. When a person thinks a stock will go up significantly, they buy a call to lock in a sale price. Conversely, when he thinks a stock will fall in value, he can buy a put. So why did George Soros Investment Fund think in August 2017, just 8 weeks or so before the Mandalay Bay massacre, that the value of MGM stocks would fall? Why did Soros Investments buy puts on 1.35 million MGM shares? Did they know a mass murder was going to take place and tried to make money off it? Or did they arrange the incident? So the MGM stocks fell following the attack and George Soros snapped them up. Okay, now this is where it starts to get really interesting. Again, we're on the Hal Turner radio show website. Look at this. CEO of MGM Grand, which owns Mandalay Bay Casino Hotel where shooting took place, sold off his MGM stocks in the weeks before the attack. The Chief Executive Officer of MGM Grand, James Murren, suddenly began selling off his MGM Grand stocks in the weeks before the attack took place. Why? Did James Murren have prior knowledge that this attack was going to take place? Did he know that the value of MGM Grand stocks would plummet after the attack, and so he cashed out before the attack happened? Well, well, well. Win-win, isn't it? Win for George Soros, who picks up cheap stocks. Meanwhile, James Murren manages to make money selling stocks while the price is high. Okay, now that is suspicious, but it gets even more suspicious when we go further down the rabbit trail, because who is James Murren? James J. Murren, also known as Jim Murren, is chairman and CEO of MGM Grand Resorts International headquarters in Paradise, Nevada. He is a member of the National Infrastructure Advisory Council. That's interesting, isn't it? National Infrastructure Advisory Council? So what is it? Well, let's go have a look. The National Infrastructure Advisory Council is a United States government advisory council which advises the President of the United States on the security of information systems in banking, finance, transportation, energy, manufacturing, and emerging government services. So it's a government advisory. So James Murren is an advisor to the administration of President Donald Trump, who also, by the way, is a casino owner. Does this not sound somewhat suspicious? The purpose. The NIAC provides the United States President through the Secretary of Homeland Security with advice on the security of critical infrastructures, both physical and cyber, supporting sectors of the economy. It also has the authority to provide advice directly to the heads of other agencies that have shared responsibility for critical infrastructure protection. Okay, so we just heard the word Homeland Security. Well, remember in a previous article, in that back article, I said there were two people we were going to look at. Well, one of those people is Michael Chertoff. Michael Chertoff served as Secretary of Homeland Security, serving under President George W. Bush. He was the co-author of the U.S. Patriot Act. He previously served as United States Circuit Judge of the United States Court of Appeals. Chertoff, according to that MillenniumReport.com article, has already been formally accused of abusing his Homeland Security position to make money selling full body scanners. Now, the second name mentioned in that article is casino mogul Adelson. Here we have a headline in the Times of Israel. Casino mogul Adelson met Trump hours after Las Vegas shooting. Apparently, the meeting was pre-arranged to review policy. Wonder what policy they were reviewing. Casino billionaire Sheldon Adelson met Monday with US President Donald Trump at the White House, where they discussed how to help victims of the deadly shooting hours earlier in Las Vegas. Okay, now apparently it was pre-arranged, like I said. I find it really interesting here. We have Adelson, Sheldon Adelson, who is from Las Vegas Sands, which is an opposing company, supposedly, of the MGM company. And we have Donald Trump, who has his own branch of casinos, and yet somehow they're all tied in together. In fact, if we look at these other articles here, we can see that Sheldon Adelson was a huge donator to Donald Trump's presidential campaign. Initially, he was going to donate $100 million. That number got down, but he still donated a lot of money to the Donald Trump presidential campaign. So we have three casino companies tied to the US government. We have James Murren with MGM. We have Adelson, who has the largest casino company in America. And we also have Donald Trump, of course, who's the president. So there you have three companies tied up, all in casinos and all tied up with the US government. Okay, well now I'm going to show you something here that is quite concerning when you see the names of Sheldon Adelson and Michael Chertoff, because they happen to be mentioned in a very serious post that some anonymous person posted on a 4chan forum on the 10th of September. Now look at this. It's called a high incident project that they want the American public to think that places with extremely high security aren't safe, and they will try to create more regulations. Going down further, if their plan is successful, the state of Nevada will pass a law in the future making all casinos have mandatory metal detectors and backscatter machines. And you can read more of it, but you have a look. Who are they saying is going to benefit from this? Their stock and make billions in profit. Mr. Chertoff has been in contact with Sheldon Adelson. Mr. Adelson will become a huge sponsor of these machines, and he will be the first to put them in his casinos when the law passes. So this anonymous poster was warning people to stay away from events in Las Vegas 3 weeks before the shooting. That has got to be something that needs serious investigation. Stricter security in casinos has already been put into operation since the shooting. We've also seen Hillary Clinton and Democrats coming out wanting more gun control, which is no surprise coming from the left wing. I've got to admit, I seriously dislike Hillary Clinton. But for a moment, just put aside the fact the left wing, because we're talking a bird when we're talking wings, a left wing and you have a right wing. Now don't forget we had the double-headed phoenix, which has 2 wings. It also has 2 heads that are part of the same body. So for a minute, put aside your left-right paradigm and realize that we're talking about the same bird here. It's called Hegelian dialectic. And both sides are playing for the same team, essentially. And I know many Christians out there that think Donald Trump is not part of this and that he's some sort of King Cyrus or whatever. I don't want to get too much into that debate here, but the people that are thinking that Trump's not part of it, this guy is a casino owner, don't forget that. And he's also, his company has recently applied for casino grants in Macau as well, so that's more casinos. Coming from a Christian, is that really what Christians do? I'll let you answer that. But I know that people have been saying, look, he's a praying president and he's had people praying for him. Well, I just want to make one last thing here, and that is to show you a picture of some people praying over Donald Trump. Have a look at the ring on one of these people's fingers. It certainly looks to me like some sort of Masonic ring with a pyramid and a checkerboard type thing, but if you look even closer, the pyramid appears to be like a face, like Pan's head or something in there. If anybody knows anything more about that ring, let us know, and whose it is perhaps, and what it signifies, because the picture isn't all that clear, but I just want to say it looks suspiciously Masonic to me. None of us really knows exactly what went on with that shooting, but it certainly shows that the official narrative is got serious holes in it and needs some more investigating, and censoring people like us is not the answer unless you're part of it yourself and want to hide the truth. Okay, well, I think I could say more, but I want to close this off and wrap it up. So this is Tony for A Minute to Midnight, our website. Check it out, aminutetomidnight.com.